So I don't own a TV and I never will. I've used projectors only for the past few years. So we were very happy that JMGO reached out to us for a sponsored video on the N1S Nano.
Namaste, we're DHRME.
Des honorables rois merveilleux extraordinaires.
Gezondheid.
Thank you.
If you guys don't know, JMGO, like when we were at CS in 2024, they had a nice booth and all these awesome projectors, and we were like, we got to work with these guys.
Yeah.
So we reached out to them, we've been in touch, and now, yeah, we're doing this video, but they've been around for like more than a decade. I think since 2011, they've been doing projectors. One of the first on the space with like proper official Netflix and Google TV on a projector.
Yep.
So they're a brand that knows what they're doing, and this is the latest model.
Okay, but briefly, I just mentioned it in the introduction, like why do I like projectors so much and why don't I have a TV?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, massive screen, right? And we're not just talking about the N1S Nano here, but this guy here can go between like 40 inches to 180 inches depending on the distance that the projector is from your wall.
That's a lot of inches.
That's a lot of inches. So I am very used to having a massive screen when I watch movies or TV shows at home, that when I go to people's homes with a TV, that I feel like, what is this? What's this amateur level, content consumption?
It's not the size, it's how you use it.
Yeah. That's point number one. Point number two is I love the minimalist setup because I don't have this big black thing on the wall like you do.
It's how you use it.
Yeah. It's just an empty wall. I can, put stuff in front of it if I want. I can just take the projector, throw it into a cupboard, it's gone. When I have guests over or whatever, just want to have a clean space. So I prefer that. And the third thing that I really like about using projectors is, it kind of keeps me disciplined because I don't want to watch TV during the day. I'd rather do other things. But if I have a TV, I just tend to keep that on. So with this, no issue because I use it in the evenings. Good to go.
Yeah. So coming back to the N1S then, the unboxing and the setup.
Yeah.
I think first off, the packaging. It was, I think, the best experience we've ever had on packaging because it had a styrofoam box and everything was neatly organized. You get the projector, obviously, you get the remote control, and you get a charger, a USB-C charger.
Yes. And I think you get a little Allen key as well to tighten the hinges on the stand, which we'll get to.
All right. But I really dig how it looks. It gives me these Wall-E Pixar vibes,
Yeah.
It's a very cute device, and it's important for something that will sit in your living room, that it has to look nice as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
I really appreciate that. It's a cute little thing.
What I really like about the adjustable stand though, it's very practical because you can just tilt it to the angle that you want.
Yeah.
Instead of having to fumble with those little kickstands, just never is enough. It's kind of there for
a little bit of an adjustment.
Yeah, for a little bit of adjustment indeed. And so you're fumbling around with books and trying to stack and get that angle if you're using a table. It just never is enough. This makes a lot of sense. And what I also like about the stand is that you can flip it entirely and then just project up to the ceiling. So if you're on, lying in bed or just camping or not camping, that doesn't make sense. We project it onto the sky.
You should not use this projecting onto the sky when you're camping.
No. But you can use it while camping because, like you said, it's Type-C charger. And what's nice about that is that you don't need to plug it into a wall socket. You just plug it into a power bank as long as it has a minimum of 65 watt.
Yeah, it works.
It does.
Tried it just
we
now.
tried it, yeah. No issues at all. And just briefly on the setup process, like once we got it out of the box, it was very easy because, you just prop it on a table, tilt it to the angle that you want, turn it on, you're good to go. But if you want, there is this threading underneath the stand, and you can put it on what I like to do at home on a C-stand. Just rotate that thing on there. Good to go. Yeah.
Clean. Yeah.
Clean. Very clean setup.
Yeah.
And that stand thing, just to mention, is also like a handle.
Yeah.
So you can use it.
Doubles up as a handle. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Smart use.
Yeah.
And speaking of the stand, it has that USB-C port in the stand as well, nicely tucked away.
Correct.
So the cable doesn't get in the way of the viewing experience or how it looks in general.
Correct.
There's no proprietary shenanigans, thank God.
Yes.
No weird barrel plugs.
No.
If you lose them, you're like stuck with a dead projector. So thank you, JMGO, for that. That was a really interesting and useful addition. Also EU compliant.
Yes. And a couple of nifty features that the projector has, which I was surprised because I've gone through several projectors in my living room. This one had a one-click dust removal feature. and you were playing around with
it. It's
it.
really nice. Yeah. It basically runs the fan for 60 seconds, and it sounds like a stupid feature, but if you really use a projector for a while, you'll see how much dust builds up on the grills. And of course, you can clean it and all that. But if it's deeper inside, I think a fan does a better job of bringing it out, and then you can clean it even better. So very, very smart.
And then when I set it up and I was just watching content and I was moving around like in front of the projector, all of a sudden the screen went off. And it said smart eye protection. I was like, oh, this is smart. Because I always get the projector light into my eyes and I'm like, no.
If you have kids around or something, they're not gonna, face that kind of eye damage. So,
or even pets and stuff. So it was very nice to see that. And you can just click something on the button and then it resumes again, or it resumes automatically again after a little while. So I was very happy to see that. Another thing, which is, guys, not a given for projectors, which I've assumed in the past, but just because it has Bluetooth doesn't mean it can connect to anything. And some won't have Bluetooth. You think it has it, but it doesn't. But these do, and what I do at home is I connect them to Bluetooth speakers. Works like a charm. Set, done. And I think just to finish off the hardware side of things, right, there are a couple of ports on the back. So you've got a HDMI port, a USB 2.0 port, and a 3.5mm audio port as well, if you need it. Not something personally I need in my setup, but if you do, you've got it. And obviously it is a projector, so you can watch videos on it, but a couple of specs to get out of the way. It is a 460 ISO lumen in terms of brightness of the light source. Again.
And we used it in a very bright room. Like here's a shot of that. It's like really bright outside now. The sun is really streaming in. But I can still see what's happening here. That is not bad. So it is just about usable in that kind of brightness.
Even with a bit of ambient lighting.
So you're not going to get the deepest blacks or whatever, but it was pretty decent.
But once you move into a darker room.
Once you move it to its use case, wow, it really shines.
Then it's really good. So don't take that lumen number too seriously, I would say. I think people have been playing around with that number a lot, and maybe you were saying as well, it really depends on the kind of content and the conditions, etc. So there's that. It does support HDR10. It is a 1080p Full HD, par for the course, so that's good. It does have LED tech inside, so as opposed to LCD. And so for that, right, you're getting a couple of benefits like deeper blacks, better brightness, but just overall the technology lasts longer. So it's
the bulb or whatever.
Right, the light source. So you don't have to replace it as frequently as you would an LCD.
Here are some samples of daylight viewing. And nighttime viewing or dark room viewing. And
correct.
Let us know what you think. We think it looks pretty good. And of course, it wouldn't be a video without talking about the sound of these. So let's talk with the sound it makes unintentionally. It's just the fan noise. Very quiet. Surprisingly quiet.
Like, you were saying my laptop makes more sound.
He has like a Dell old Windows laptop, and that like is twice as loud as this. It's just the laptop fan. That was awful. But this is super quiet. So even if you're right behind it, and we are in a very quiet room here, you could barely notice it. And if you have your volume up about like 10 or 15,
you're not going to hear it.
That's it. You're not going to hear it. Only time it makes some noise is when you turn on that feature to blast the dust out.
Of course.
But even that I thought wasn't too loud. So overall, very nicely designed. 2 5-watt speakers, sounded very good. I was playing Gravity by John Mayer, and you were like doing something. I was like, I forgot for a second I was a projector, I
thought you just listen to music on speakers.
It's quite good. You're getting some bass as well, especially mid bass, decent bass. I pumped up the volume to 100. Absolutely no distortion. Sounds good. It's got Dolby audio. It's got Dolby Digital Plus. So a bunch of standards, and it has ARC over HDMI. So if you have a sound system or a sound bar, you can just use HDMI to return audio to that channel.
Very cool.
Really cool. Sounds good. Happy with the sound. Very happy with the sound. For the size. It's really good.
course, it is called a Nano. It looks very compact and portable, but don't let it fool you because it does pack a punch. It's got, Google TV, and so it has everything that you would come to expect from it, which we'll talk about a little bit. But it is snappy as hell. That's what I really noticed compared to all the projectors that I've tested so far.
I was surprised, yeah.
Turning it on, turning it off was fast. Like, just navigating through the UI was very fast as well. Yeah, and in comparison, it was faster than the Nebula Capsule 3, like we've tested before.
Yeah, but the fastest part.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved this. So like, I'm used to a Nebula Capsule 3 as well, and in my bedroom and all that. Yeah. But when I move it, the auto keystone takes a while. Yeah. And I kind of got used to that. I thought that's normal. And this thing, I just moved it, like it's literally a tenth of a second. Yeah. Done.
You blink.
I'm like, yo, like what's going on? Yeah. Like, did it not work? Because
I had the same impression. Yeah. So when it happened, I was like, nah, let me try it. Nah, what? Really?
That's really cool. Yeah. So you feel like you can easily move this around much more than other projectors.
And it doesn't disrupt the whole content viewing experience.
No, it's like literally tenth of a second, man. It's like really fast. And because of Google TV, you get all the stuff you would come to expect. Voice assistant on remote, one button setup from the remote. You get all your favorite shortcuts. Which ones do you get? Amazon Prime, Netflix, You can also switch input. There's a special button for that. I really like that because if you're gaming, you have another input as to watching content. Yeah. And I tried this with my Steam Deck as well. It was pretty good. It was good fun. The colors, of course, are great. But the latency was also very good. It does have a low latency mode as well for you gamers out there. So that's fun.
Finally, there's also Google Cast. So, you can mirror, you can cast your content over. Standard Google TV stuff, right? So very happy to see that. So a big thanks to JMGO for sponsoring this video. But we never make sponsored videos for products we don't believe in. So we've taken our time to really test this product. And so we're putting our
name behind it.
Name behind it here, right? So we wouldn't do that if we don't believe in it. So thanks for that. And do check out the links in the description for the latest prices.
Yeah. But the price right now, at least on release, sorry, I'm interrupting you, is €599, right? And it's a really cute device, I think. It's got that appeal of, being in your living room. It won't stand out as ugly. It performs really well. And I think we really enjoyed using it, didn't you?
Yeah.
The setup was super easy. Yeah. So great experience overall. And so I guess it's time to ask the question, Mr. I only use projectors.
Yes, I'm upgrading this one in my living room because it is performing much better than the one I have right now. So so click the link in the description for the latest prices, guys.
Yeah, and again, thanks to all of you guys for watching and supporting us and our channel, and special thanks to our tested tier supporters and our Fuckman tier supporters.
Paula, Rads Panda, and Rachel. Thank you very much.
You've been JM going to buy a new projector.
And we've been DHRME.
Doi.